It is like if an FDA auditor just now walked to our cardiology monitor company and ran a week worth of analysis with his team on our data. What we see is, despite the great definition of the process that we had before, August's system can tell you that your compliance doesn't meet the regulatory requirements. You can see here different questions we can ask our data, and for each such question, we can have the information related to the elements that are passing or failing the test. You can see that some of them are passed and some of them are failed. You can see the amount of data that has been tested against it. For each such test, we have a specific definition which we call a CCA element in Orcanos that help us to define exactly what we would like to measure. And on top of it, it will also help us to define the remediation to fix it, and the elements, and the source, which could be a chapter quote directly from the standard. All that is available to our users in order to fix the problems that are facing. One of the things that we saw here as a failure is that we have a test that is not, we have a requirement, a software requirement, which is acting as a mitigation for a specific risk that may be identified by a complaint that we talked about before, but this specific software requirement has no test coverage. There is no test that is helping to validate that this software requirement is truly mitigating the risk. In order to fix it, we can go directly and access the failed elements, the 5 failed elements that we see here in this report. The system automatically will tell you the list of failures that you have, those 5 failures. Okay, and it may ask you to perform some action on the traceability to tests. I will pick up one of those software requirements, and we'll try to resolve the problem by creating traceability between tests to the software requirement. You can see already that this software requirement is acting as a mitigation to the risk. Now I will add a traceability between the test in the software element as test verification, and I will pick the right test and trace it as a software requirement become the target of my test case. Now I have created that traceability. I can refresh and show it to you. But at the same time, if I go back to my assessment engine and run the assessment again, we will see that out of the 5, now we have left with only 4 software requirements that are missing tests.